Okay, let's see if we can get this done in the third video. So I was really into the electron and the fact that carbon needs more electrons out here, okay? That is really why it combines. It has this need to fill this outer energy level, which is called the valence level. And as it does that, it combines, and it could combine as a linear structure. Also, let me show you the next one. Carbon can combine and form a linear, or what we call a chain. Okay, it could combine and form sort of a branched chain, and it could also combine and form what we call rings, okay, which is pretty interesting. Okay, that flexibility allows molecules to become very diverse. So organic molecules, even though we narrow them down to 4, they become a little diverse as they take on, yes, different shapes. Okay, so moving on. Oops, I forgot to put that timer again. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to go for, nope, okay, let's see, 9 minutes, probably less than that. Okay, so what are some distinguishing properties? Because we looked at what those properties that organic molecules have in common. Now, what is it that makes organic compounds different? Okay, so we look first at the structure. As we mentioned before, there are sometimes elements such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur that are not found in some of the organic molecules. Okay, so I can tell you right now, carbohydrates, they only contain CHO. So that's a distinguishing feature. Okay, so if you see nitrogen, phosphorus, or sulfur, you know it's not a carbohydrate. So that's a distinguishing feature. We looked at shape, three-dimensional structure, and with shapes, you really can use your textbook. What's really cool now that we can work together. If you open your book to page 55, as it says in our notes there, and you look on page 55 really quick, because time seems to go by so quickly when we're doing these lectures. You look on the bottom there, if you look at glucose, figure 3-6, okay, you see that 3-ring structure, okay? Now, I asked you, and I said, well, we know glucose is a carbohydrate. What makes it different from a lipid? So if we look at oil, for example, we were able to look deep into these small molecules, well, small in the sense in terms of our visual ability to see atoms, impossible, but if we were able to see them, they're very large molecules that make up lipids, such as what we have as vegetable oil. You look on page 59, we would be able to see that molecule. If we were able to see that molecule, it would look like figure 3-10, excuse me, palmitic acid. Now, you don't need to know these names. You just need to look at the structure and say, oh, the shape, and say, wow, I look at the shape, I know that this molecule is not a carbohydrate. Why not? Well, lipids have what we call a linear structure. So they have like these long chains of carbon that allow it to, that makes up its structure. If you look on page 56 for proteins, very different, a little bit more complex. If you look at figure 3-7, letter B, it says alanine. Well, that shape there, it's almost difficult to really describe because it has carbon in the center, then it has an NH group to the left and a carboxyl or carbon OH group to the right and a CH3 group to the top. So you'll see that you'll get more familiarized with that in the class. And in addition to that, nucleic acids, that shape is really very distinguishable. You look on page 60, okay, the DNA, which is the molecule that your parents, your grandparents have passed down to you, that has this information that says who you are, things like your color of your hair, your blood type, all that information that is passed down is really in this molecule, tremendously big. And look at the shape. It looks crazy, doesn't it? Like a twisted ladder. And that's what we call it, the double helix, okay? So, if you have any questions on that, make sure you bring it to class because we're moving right on. Now, what is the second way that we distinguish these organic molecules? We look at function. Actually, in biology, we're always talking about structure and function. Structure and function. Structure, what are the parts? What do they look like? Function, like what is your function in school? To work, to learn. Well, we also look at molecules. What is their function? How do living things use them? What is their job? Okay, so if I give you 4 basic functions, would you be able to tell me right now, match them up to the organic molecules? Okay, so for example, I take Hershey's and I get some quick energy. Okay, well, what molecule is going to provide me that quick energy? Okay? And I eat beans because I know I'm a growing person. Well, you're a growing person. I'm not growing anywhere. I'm trying to prevent growing in this direction, but you're still growing, and I'm still making cells for the rest of my life. So what molecule is going to allow me to make more cells? That's one of the functions of the molecule that I'm referring to. This molecule, okay, well, we store this, okay? This is really considered a molecule for storing energy, and it has other functions, mind you. So that's really something that you'll learn in class. And last but not least, the molecules that if I had some hair right now, and I pull it out and I get to the root of the hair and I look under the microscope and I look in the nucleus, I can see the molecule. I would else not be able to see the molecule, but I would be able to see chromosomes that are passed down that have this molecule, that carry all the information. So what are those molecules? Okay. Did you say carbohydrates, quick energy? Correct. Very good. Did you say building new cells, protein? Yes, very important to build protein. To build new cells using protein. Stored energy. Did you say lipids? Very good. And last but not least, the ones that are not in your kitchen, that you have to look for your family members to see where that information came from. Yes, nucleic acids. So you get a good idea now, if we review very quickly, that in terms of determining how and why each major category of organic molecules is essential to life, we're looking really at function, okay? That this is how we use them. This is what allows us to live, to grow, to reproduce, to pass on information to our children, etc. Okay? And again, if you have any other questions, make sure you bring them to class. It was fun. See you soon.